Now you can speak candidly, right?
Now I'm not going to answer the question because he left. Yeah, I'm scared.
Don't get me wrong.
David, I don't know if this is your personality or not, but you've been left off a few all-conference teams recently, and the joke walker was last year. I don't know, when you see that, how does it affect you? Does it motivate you?
Motivation. I've always felt like at certain points I've been doubted, but I don't take like personal attack to it, right? Like I don't take it over the edge, but obviously it's motivation. I feel like I'm one of the best, if not the best, running back in the country, and that's just personal thoughts. But if random voters don't feel that way, it's okay. But I still view it as motivation for this next season for sure.
And what do you think about the running back play in this conference? Tom Brooks said he knows you pretty well.
Yeah.
What do you think about this conference?
Yeah, no, I think it's really cool. Obviously, like being a fan of KU, I've always looked up to the Big 12 and the running backs. So I think there's been a great rapport of running backs in the past, and to be a part of another great group, it's pretty cool. I have pretty good connections with the majority of the running backs in the Big 12, and it's always love, it's always support until we play each other, of course, right? But I think it's unique. I think it's cool. I think it brings more eyes to our conference and to each other just because of how competitive it is. So I think it's cool.
How did you
I'm pretty sure I literally just followed him and then DM'd him saying something along the lines of he had like a crazy game, and I just said that was a crazy game. I love the player you are, and then we just started briefly chopping up from there. Like we're not like super close. Like we never trained together. I saw him yesterday in the hotel. We talked for a little bit, but
how much people think about players on one team hate the guys on the other team or whatever y'all are, obviously highly competitive. How much do you interact with players on the other team?
Well, I don't. When we're off the field, like we've had plenty of interactions here. It's always great conversations. Like we're human at the end of the day. Yeah, we play an intense sport, but at the end of the day, when we see each other in person, it's nothing like it is on the field. Even on our biggest rivalry, I have family on K-State. I have friends on K-State that I grew up with, and obviously on the field, it's a game. We're not messing with each other, but after the game, it's still love at the end of the day. So, yeah, I would probably view it as that. Like I have no beef with anyone outside the football field just because it's unnecessary, and I don't view football like that in my personal opinion. So.
I mean, we're talking about guys who are right there in those situations.
He chose to come back.
Guys who are ready.
You would get a lot of carries.
One thing I've always told him is your number is called.
Well, I mean, in general, I just think he wants to be a part of this special team, right? And he knows he has a role as much as I have a role. And he knows that we're a 1-2 punch as much as I know we're a 1-2 punch, right? So I've said it plenty of times, there's no jealousy in our room. Everyone will see each other win, and I have no doubt in my mind that Deuce can play in the NFL, and he's proven that he can play in the NFL, right? And it's just it's really unique in that way because it's probably not common in most rooms. But him staying meant a lot to our team just because we bounce off each other. We make it really hard for defenses to cover both, and it's a big threat, and teams have to prepare differently for that. No, he's definitely gonna have a higher strength rating than me. I'm not even gonna lie, but 70 for me is kind of wild. I think I'm still a little salty about it, but it's okay.
What have your initial impressions of Bryce Foster?
That's a big dude. Like, obviously, Pooney was a big guy, but I've always said, like, the biggest differences that I've seen between, like, Big 12 play and, like, SEC play is interior, and you can really see it in Bryce. I've watched plenty of film of Bryce, too. He moves really well. He fits really good in the counter scheme. Texas A&M ran that a ton, especially with A-Chain and their other running back that they had, Isaiah Spiller. So I've watched a ton of film on him. And I'm really excited to see what he can do. We've got a pretty good bond. He's a really funny dude. He's unique, and he's like a gentle giant. He actually moved into a crib by my parents' crib accidentally, so we got a bond already, so I love it.
What's your just kind of initial impressions on their new offensive coordinator?
My initial impression, like I said it in the bowl prep last year, like the connection that he built with us is really important, and I think he's going to push us to be better because we actually have a trust connection with him. Not saying we didn't have that with Coach K, but it's different, right? It's different for each person, and Coach Grimes was really intentful with getting to know us as players or as people beyond players, right? So I think that's going to go a long way. I love his scheme. It's more of a pro-style scheme. I think it's going to fit what we do really good, and I think JD as a quarterback is going to fit into that mold. I think me as a running back is going to fit better into that mold, and I'm excited for it.
What's the reputation that he has, the reputation that he brought to KU? What did you kind of think before you?
Obviously, like, you kind of hear names. I can go to Baylor in 21. I can't remember his name, but both the running backs they had were dynamic. One had 1,600 yards, and you can go to BYU with Algier. You can keep going down the line, and he likes to run the ball. And obviously, I'm like that, right? So he definitely has a emphasis on running the ball, and I appreciate that. And I'm excited to play under that for sure.
Who are some of the freshmen or transfers, whoever, making a big impression on you, like in off-season workouts and coming out of the spring and such?
Yeah, I would probably say Harry Stewart. He's in my room. Super mature. He reminds me a lot how I came in, just head down, ready to work. Super mature, like I said. He's really laid back. And, yeah, we've got a really good bond this summer. And, I'm going to try to pour as much information, as much knowledge of the game that I have, and just how to go about it the right way with him. And, because I want to lead this program way better than I found it. And, so he doesn't have to worry about anything. Obviously, he's going to have his bumps, and he's going to, when he actually is playing, right? So I'm excited to see his future for sure.
What's your thoughts on Jalen and just what he's been through, and what do y'all see from him that the people outside don't see?
I would probably say just, as an insider person, right, I probably was the closest to understanding what was happening to him, and seeing, all the people speculate on what the reason may be. He stayed strong through it all, right? Like, he didn't let, at least to me, maybe by himself, he didn't show being disappointed, which I know he was, right? And being angry at the comments being made about him wanting to transfer, faking an injury, you name it. Because I was upset for him, right? Because I know that's not what he's about. And, I've seen him stay strong through that. I've seen him smile through that. I've seen him be a phenomenal leader through that for the team as much as he could be. He was around the team as much as possible, still being a voice for the team. And I think that stuff goes unnoticed because you just don't see it, right? It's in our building. And so I think those are the things that you need to know about JD is, he's willing to give whatever it takes for his team, for his brothers, and that's a good thing for sure.
Obviously, expectations for you and being able to go out there in high school and play quarterback and win a state championship, being able to just go out there and play, not have to worry about
the field change. Absolutely, you feel that expectation, you feel that pressure, right? Like in our mind, we got to be a 10-win plus team, right? That's us. And how do you do it? That's the question. Is staying hungry, staying determined. Because when success comes, you get complacent. So there's been a huge emphasis from leaders like me and JD and other guys on the team, and Coach Sleeve as well, that we don't have time to be complacent. We don't have time to mope around or act like we've been here before, because we haven't. We've never been a Big 12 championship team. We've never been a playoff team. So there's still a lot of room to improve in that aspect. So we're super excited to just go out there and just play. I know a lot of us, especially us older guys, because we're an older team now, we get through the grind of summer and fall camp. We just ready to play. So.
Has there been moments this spring practice where it's like, there's a little complacency, I got to get these guys in a line a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. It's human nature to feel it. Especially with older guys or vets on the team now. Everyone's like, I've done this a million times, I got it. But you can never practice something too many times, especially when it comes to this sport. So we just continue to focus on every person focusing on the little things that they need to get better, and we'll be in good shape for sure.
Can you describe your relationship with your teammate Daniel Bishop?
Very close-knit. I would say the entire running back is very close-knit. You can kind of see how we interact in-game and practice in general. But, me and Deuce, we've come a long way. We used to bump heads younger in our career just because, obviously, the human nature. But, we've come to understand each other a lot better. We learned each other's story, and I think there's a lot of power in that, learning someone's story and where they come from and why they react to certain things. And when we did that, it was like, oh, okay, that makes sense why you would react like that, or vice versa, right? So, we're super close, and, the sky's the limit for him. I want him to succeed just as much as I want myself to succeed, and I want to see him in the NFL just as much. So
what's your thoughts on the Big 12? It's stacked with talented running backs like yourself, R.J. Harvey, Alec Gordon, Yes, so many. Like, do you think that you can have the potential to be the best of the bunch?
Well, personally, I already think I'm the best, right? That's just my nature, and that's just who I am. But, you know, it's always respect to those guys, too, because they have their own styles, and I always respect game, and I always pay attention to what makes guys different. And, you know, I've watched plenty of film on Ali, on Taj, on RJ. You can go down the line, and I like all their game. And, you know, as me as a confident man in this league, I think I'm one of the best, not only in our conference, but in the country. And so I prepare myself in a certain way. I live with that expectation. I live with that pressure. So at the end of the day, it is cool that we have those many guys, but, you know, I don't really go into games focusing on how I can be better than this running back, right? I just want to be the best running back I can for my team and let my talent take over from there.
Hey, Devin, I wanted to ask about the last episode of your podcast.
Yeah.
How did you decide it was kind of the right time to share your experience with the Rays last fall?
Well, honestly, I wasn't going to, but arriving in LA with him, he told me something similar happened to him. Obviously, he talked about it. It happened to him, and I was like, well, at first we weren't going to talk about it. And I was like, if you're not comfortable talking about it, we don't got to talk about it. His was really fresh. Mine was a year, had time to reflect. I didn't really want it to get out like that just because I was still figuring out the process of what to do with everything. But it just happened to be like that. So it kind of just flowed naturally, and we felt like, you know, both of us, that's part of our story. It's important to us. It's important for people to know. It wasn't one of those things where we wanted to say it in spite or to embarrass or ridicule the Orange Police Department for me or LA Police Department for him, but it was one of those things where we experienced it, and if we can experience it, it can happen to really anyone, right? And it's just kind of one of those stories, one of those lessons, I guess, in a way, that we just wanted to explain on.